Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the Best Friends Forever event, in which the Dae'Drak is added to the game. So this week brings quite a few things. We have the start of Campaign 21 with the new Daemon gem, which basically summons a daemon whenever you end up destroying it, which is really annoying if the enemy ends up getting that, as you know, you'll have to deal with that resummon and generally won't help yourself, as it could even block your mana depending on if you actually get a summon there when you don't necessarily want it. So a little bit of annoying gem. We also have things like the 10-year anniversary pet for the game, of course, coming out this Wednesday. And later tonight at our normal stream time at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be handing out one of the other 10-year anniversary pets. Do keep in mind in regard to streams, we are probably only going to be streaming Gems of War now, at least only on Mondays for now. As you guys probably saw yesterday, we didn't end up doing a Gems of War stream, mostly because for whatever reason, the Brighter Shores we've been doing has kind of been going absolutely ballistic in the YouTube algorithm. If you guys have seen any of the numbers on it, I actually had the highest viewed stream I ever had We had like 200 concurrent, and I think the best we ever did for Gems of War back in the day, like an absolute peak, was like 180-ish or so, up to there, and had 5,000 views already, and it was just absolutely insane. I mentioned earlier that, as a joke, that Brighter Shores would be like our next 10-year addiction, you know, now that's the 10-year anniversary of Gems of War, but honestly, it probably has. But I don't want to completely abandon Gems of War. I still want to keep covering these weekly videos, and at least do one stream every single week, which at this moment in time will be every single Monday night at the normal 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have cut back even more, but don't worry, I guess at this point it is Gems of War Mondays going forward, at least for now. It could change again, but at the moment it's basically just Gems of War Mondays. But anyways, guys, let's start getting into things. So, of course, we'll be going over all the teams and everything and start from the new troop itself. So, as far as this guy, great time to stock up on red, brown Arcanes, only 200 glory each. As far as this guy is concerned, he deals a bunch of damage to an enemy, then creates 1 to 3 demonic portal gems, and this is, of course, not that good. 1 to 3 demonic portal gems, basically just 1 to 3 resummon when they get destroyed. There's a good chance the enemy will end up getting benefit from it. I have a feeling a lot of things that will end up coming in this season that have this mechanic are probably not going to be worthwhile. This is probably the most annoying power gem we've probably seen since that of the Lycanthropy one. Because if you're basically just feeding the enemy team potentially a bunch of resummon, as your enemy team is a lot more likely to have empty spaces than your own. And if you're behind, you're probably not going to have too good of a way to even explode these to begin with. So it's a really clunky mechanic in the current state of how it is. I'm not sure if they're going to tweak them ever at all, but this does have potential to be one of the top few most annoying power gems. And of course, they fall from the sky for the next 10 weeks. So that's going to be going through pretty much all the holidays, all the way into pretty much New Year. So yeah, we're going to have to deal with that for a little while, unfortunately. But it shouldn't be too bad. You just have to make sure you try to kill everything this season and simultaneously if you can. Otherwise, they might end up getting a free summon on you unless you have a way to destroy it. But even then, it might fall from the sky and they'll get another way to go destroy it. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit annoying to have to deal with, but as long as you mostly kill this team simultaneously, you know, Stellar quick kill, Tesla spam, stuff like that, or even Rowan quick kill, those kind of teams will be a big beneficiary of those gems, as you can basically bypass their annoying aspect of their resummon. As far as the event key drop table is concerned, it is pretty skippable. Of course, we've had some pretty good event key weeks lately, so with that being said, there isn't really as much of a need to go for one like this. I would say the main pickups, if you are earlier in the game, is there are some Power Skull options if you want to go into that kind of route. I believe there's 2 of them here, Fist of Zorn, as well as Trucknala. They both have Empower into a Skull Spam. In the case of her, she has green to Skull, and in the case of Fist of Zorn, she has yellow to Skull. These are both really good if you want to incorporate them into an early mid-game Skull Spam team. They can be used in some later Skull Spam teams as well. We also have things of Eye of Argus. Eye of Argus, while these other 2 are really, really bad mythics, Eye of Argus, 2 or 3 of them, even 4 if you really want to do a funny team. He ends up creating 2 Doom Skulls every single turn, and this does stack, so with 2 of them that's 4, with 3 of them that's 6. There are a few instances you use it, particularly Daemon and Orc Restriction, and I guess technically Grashnak Restriction, such as this week. But for the most part, it's not too big a deal. And if you do really want to high prioritize him, it might be just worthwhile to go and wait for him in Soulforge, rather than necessarily trying to event key for him, because of course, if you miss, you're going to get among one of the worst 2 mythics in the entire game. So unless you're just looking to get it to some kind of star level or something, probably not worth going for. And if you really want this troop, it's probably just worthwhile to end up getting it through diamonds in the future. Pretty low priority, but still a gimmicky troop that does find its way into some restrictions, especially if you lack other options for those restrictions. But overall, really skippable week for event keys. As far as things that are not in drop table here, this includes the 4 faction troops from the Dripping Cavern, as well as, is that it? Yeah, it seems like that's it, unless I'm missing one here. It is only the 4 faction troops from the Dripping Cavern, so pretty much everything else that you see here is available, though most of it is not really worth going for the most part. Oh, there's also 50% mana star for Orc. I don't feel like I use this guy too often. Orc is a restriction you pretty much only really use like when you're forced to. So for the most part, you're just not going to use it. So as far as the guild related event, we have a Red Tower of Doom. Keep in mind, you do have to use your shield on your team. This will give you 2 times score whenever you go and kill any of the Dooms. Technically, you could do the previous battles without doing it, and then on the final battle, make sure to switch to it. But it's normally just more convenient to keep the shield on your team always, just to make sure you don't accidentally forget to switch it. And of course, it plays out the same way as always. Do not scout. Do not do every single room. You want to go and scout with your guild, report back which ones are the more favorable rooms, and then go take all of them, like Fireballs, Heroisms, Unlock, and similar ones that you want to report back to your guild. And simply just do that, and make sure to only grab the more favorable ones unless you're one specifically scouting for your guild. And that's pretty much it. 2 times score, and make sure to only take out the good scouted rooms. As far as other events we have going on this week, there's actually a few other things I should probably go mention before that. So 2 things. Let's mention the campaign first. So, campaign, of course, we are now in season 21 of Gems of War. As far as the main campaign pass reward, we had 2 things here. Where's the weapon? We did get a weapon, right? Where's the weapon? I believe the weapon was not worth it. Actually, both of them kind of in a weird position. But as far as this, it deals some damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by demonic portal gems at a 3 times ratio, and then creates 2 demonic portal gems. It has no explodes, so end up utilizing them immediately, and is pretty much useless to really bother with. One really weird thing about things that actually want to keep demonic portal gems on the board is you're basically just helping the enemy eventually get resummoned. So any kind of time you want to do this, these ratios should be way better. Like any kind of ratio that has a have demonic portal gem on the board should have a 0 at the end of it. This should be doing 30 extra damage if you're going to be bothering to give that to the enemy team every single time. And even then, it's probably not worth it. As far as the Mythic, pretty similar issue. Deals a bunch of damage to all enemies boosted by demonic portal gems, and then explodes a bunch of gems for each demonic portal gem. That's just not going to be enough. Even if there are a bunch of demonic portal gems on the board, after you do it, there's just not going to be. Of course, you would need your team to basically be dead to really get any value from this, to be able to go get the summons that you would end up getting from the demonic portal gem. And his other 2 traits just don't really do anything. So unfortunately, going to be overall pretty weak. And it's not like any of the other ones that we've been getting recently as far as ones that can create gems. We've been getting such good troops that create gems at start a battle, either 1 or 2 of them, that any that get a average or exceedingly below average one in the case of this guy, just really aren't worth using. And while we have been getting some pretty bad campaign mythics recently, this one is among one of the even worse ones on top of that pile. So unfortunately, of course, yeah, not that good. I would say this is one of the weaker campaign passes we've had in a pretty long time overall. Aside from that, there's one other thing to mention. This actually, I believe, populated last week, but I did not realize it as I was recording the video, so I do want to mention it this week for any of you that have not seen it yet. So if you go over to your other tabs in your PvP shop, this originally was supposed to be out, I think, like a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, kind of got delayed a little bit, and then came out as of last week. But there are 2 troops here now. Of course, we had the gold one that is 100% not worth it. Do not get this. For 2,500 gold marks, you can end up getting this guy. He's basically worse famine. He drains all mana from an enemy, and then deals a bunch of damage to all enemies, boosted by mana drained, which is the exact opposite of famine, which drains all enemies instead of 1. But instead of hitting all enemies, it hits 1 enemy very strong. And in the case of famine, it is actually stronger, because it is way better to 4 times drain than the 1 times drain. And 4 times or AoE is not as good as just hitting 1 single unit very hard. If that 1 single unit very hard that you're hitting will get 1-shotted, which famine can do sometimes, or at least 2-shot if nothing else. So for the most part, yeah, this guy's just useless. Similar to the other gold mark ones, 2,500 gold marks to get it is very exceedingly overpriced, and you will be able to get him in the future, so no need to really get him now. You'll be able to get him months from now, either for 4,000 diamonds in Soulforge, or you can event key for him in the future in Leonis Empire. He does have an okay final trait, 35% chance to convert a purple gem, purple gem into a purple mana gem when his turn begins. This can be good, especially if he gets lucky and does it a couple turns in a row, but it's not good enough to justify his ability, unfortunately. We did, however, get a new concept of a troop, and that is the 1,500 silver troop. So this one actually kind of is worth getting. Only one, do not get all 6. You just orbit if you want to do it. Just a single blue orb. However, getting one singular copy of this, or 2 I guess if you want to use it on a team, not the worst thing in the world. So he has 50% skull reduction, as well as deals some damage to the last enemy whenever he extra turns. As far as his ability, he destroys a 5x5 circle, and then deals 50 damage, or some amount of damage to the last enemy. And there's then a 30% chance to devour them, boosted by skulls destroyed. So, hey, if you destroy like 5 skulls, get that 30% extra, that's doubling your percent. You're up to 60%. This guy, for legendary, is pretty good mid-game devourer. Unfortunately, it is forced to have to do it to their last slot. You do not actually get to choose what enemy ends up getting devoured by it, so you would need some kind of way to, curse them if they do have immune or anything like that. However, that's still a pretty decent devour rate for what is relatively easy to get. 1,500 silver, that's pretty easy to end up farming in a given PvP season. You probably get it automatically. And the only other thing you really use silver on is to get, one of each of the pets. Talismans aren't worth using them on. So in the current state of the game, getting one copy of this every single time, a new season for PvP rotates around is actually worthwhile. The gold mark one, never, ever, ever worth it. Silver mark one, yeah, pretty much always worth it. Might as well. You could, of course, avoid it if you want and get this in the future, similar to the other thing. You can get it for 800 diamonds in the future in the Soulforge months from now, as well as event key for him whenever the next Drifting Sands event is after the current PvP season. But for most part, honestly, for 1,500 silver, that's not a bad deal. There's not much else to really be using it on, so might as well if you have any spare of the tens of thousands or however many you have laying around. And even if you only have a few thousand, as long as you have all the silver pets, there honestly really isn't any reason not to, as there's nothing else to dump it into. Maybe if there is in the future, but I think this is the closest thing we're getting to something to dump it into, so might as well. It's not a bad troop, and depending on your devour rates in early game, it might actually be your best consistent way to go farm a devourer. If you go and just do a little bit of PvP and try getting this guy, so definitely worth considering. So not kind of nice that we're getting 2 every single time, though. At the current cost of the gold mark one, you are never, ever, ever, ever going to click on that. I highly advise not doing so. Extremely highly advise not doing so, as it is exceedingly expensive. So other things. This Tuesday, we got the faction event for the Dripping Caverns, which is a green-blue restriction. A lot of good things in there as far as Rowan quick kill team, Tesla quick kill team, stuff like that. As far as Wednesday, probably one of the more important things to not forget, it is the 10-year anniversary pet for Gems of War. Gosh, I cannot believe it's been 10 years. It does not feel like 10 years, gosh. But yes, it is the 10-year anniversary this month. Technically, I think it's in like a week or 2, but they kind of celebrate it pretty much all month with how the season event thingy is currently going on. Yeah, that's another thing I need to go over that tab too, don't I? But yeah, do not forget to go get this pet on Wednesday. These things are very sporadic on how they come out, if they ever really return again. And if they do, they're normally money locked. So definitely make sure to end up getting this pet. On this Wednesday, you'll have that 24-hour period and, that amount of time, whatever you see in game. Thursday class event, we have the Barbarian hero class, one of the worst hero classes in the entire game, very weak. It's trying to be kind of a skull hero class, but there are a billion skull hero classes better than it, so you're not really ever doing it. And this Friday, we have ourselves our arena event, aka there is no event this weekend, so you can just relax and do whatever else you want to end up grinding. As far as Soulforge is concerned, I've not actually checked this earlier, so let me go take a peek. Oh, Queen Titania. Queen Titania not as good as Tesla on as far as like early game auto win options. But it is worth mentioning that Queen Titania is absurdly good early game damage. If you're a relatively newer player and you currently don't have Queen Titania, it is potentially worth actually investing 800 diamonds for her. She has an insanely good boost ratio. So what she does, she deals a bunch of damage to all enemies, boosted by red enemies and allies, which of course means at least herself, any other red allies you have, as well as, of course, every single red enemy. This normally averages out to be about a 4 boost ratio for 16 additional damage to all enemies. And the other thing that she has is if there are 13 or more reds on the board, she also gains auto extra turns. So not only if you're red mana accumulating for her, will you get some free extra turns you can end up utilizing, and then take a bunch of like extra 5 times and then cast her again and basically get like a double cast, triple cast kind of situation. But her boost ratio, honestly, not that bad. 4 times for every red ally and enemy, where you're already getting at least 1 ratio because you yourself are a red ally. And of course, anything else you get from the team, especially if you have like a 2-3 reds on the opposing team, really helpful. The other thing that's actually really good on her is as far as a full package troop, she is still to this day, oddly enough, despite being pretty much one of the first, if not the first, fire option in the game, she's still the best fire option in the game pretty much. There are some mythics that have like double effect, like freeze fire and stuff like that, but their ability is not necessarily as useful a lot of times. But in the case of Queen of Tanya, she has a really useful high damage ability with potential extra turn, while also having fire every single time you take an extra turn, making her among one of the strongest, if not the strongest fire option within the game at the moment. I'm still kind of surprised they haven't added one that is better than her, like definitively better her in every single way, both in traits and ability. But yeah, to this day, she's still pretty much standing strong as one of the best options. And Fire is pretty good. It lets you do 50 additional spell damage, 50% extra additional spell damage to anything afflicted with it, which of course makes her already decent damage even better on top of that, outpacing a lot of other AoE options in the game. And oh, we got Ironhawk. Oh, it's one of those kind of weeks, isn't it? It's here. The Ironhawk has returned. Unfortunately, I think it's a little while until we have a Vault event, right? When's the next Vault event? Next Vault event is, kind of. What is that? The 29th is next Vault event. So what? That's 3 weekends from now? So, you know, it's getting here. But, yeah, get your 2 to 3 Ironhawks in. Ooh, that's shiny. I think it's only on PC Mobile right now. But, hey, PC Mobile players, go get your Ironhawk. That is so nice. But, yeah, Ironhawk is available in Soulforge. The Ironhawk has landed. Order 2 to 3, however many you need. But, of course, for any of you who don't know, Ironhawk is used for the quick kill Explorer team. It is insanely quick. For example, if you go over here, click on this. Also really good for the red objective we got to go do. I didn't actually mention that yet. I should probably go do that now. But, for example, you have to kill reds for the current weekly for the holiday event for the 10-year anniversary. And I am blind. Where's my team? There it is. We'll do the one Ironhawk team. So, of course, Ironhawk, there's a triple and double team. So the triple, this basically you use for verse farming, or if you just really want to quick kill Explore 1. To keep it used in a couple locations like Cinder Mirage, Wild Plains, and I believe Drak Zoom, I believe it still works in. But this is what you use for a double Ironhawk team if you can't end up getting a third one. Or if you want to do this for Paloozas, like Noma Paloozas, because you need the extra damage. It does 25 damage instead of the other team that does 20. The main reason for that is every Ironhawk does 5 damage every single time you cast. And of course that stacks with every Ironhawk on your team. And when you combine that with Empower, you can just do it immediately. And when you combine that with extra turn Empower, like the Sister Superior, you can double cast it. Casting something like Sister Superior, then the Dust Devil, and you're going to be good to go. What I was mentioning earlier is if I go check over to the weekly progress, of course, we do still have these 4 anniversary week event thingies that they basically added in the most recent patch, and we are on currently week 2. This week we have to defeat red enemies to collect points and earn rewards, and guess what team is really good for that? Dust Devil Quick Kill. So of course you could do it in Cinder Mirage, you could do it in Wild Plains, stuff like that. I don't believe this place has a bonus this week, but both of them actually have a pretty good ratio of red. Like, not the best, but you know, for one-shotting them, it's definitely worthwhile. So, you know, if you haven't already picked up your Ironhawk, could be a really great way to kill. Obviously, you don't need these teams to do that. But, you know, it'll save you a little bit of time. You're mostly getting them for, obviously, the eventual Vault event weekends. The whole reason why you even want to get why you want to get Ironhawks in the first place is to be able to go farm the best loot in the game, which is Vault event weekends. And the Ironhawk is still by far the absolute best way to do so. There are some things that they've added in recent times that kind of get in his way, like the, what was that one gnome? The Dragonite gnome, which has enough durability to actually survive Ironhawk. You know, when you're using a standard Ironhawk quick kill team. But even with that slight slowdown, it is still worth using double, triple Ironhawk in various pieces of content where you're quick killing. So if you haven't already gotten it, definitely make sure to do so. As far as weapons are concerned, I would say it's pretty skippable. Obviously, you get the Doom weapon specifically from the Doom event. Do not get it from Soulforge. Just spend the 500 gems you need to do for the Doom event. It will not only help your guild, but it's overall better value. So definitely scrap that together and get it through gems rather than crafting in Soulforge. I would say if you're looking for any one particular weapon, I would say Earth's Fury is kind of interesting. It has some interesting use cases as far as attacking. Basically, how this works is it's Mang, but it applies it to your whole team. You get more overall attack, but it's distributed across everything on your team. So you're getting less per unit, but more across your whole team. It eliminates all armor from an enemy and deals some damage to them, and then gives all allies 2 attack boosted by armor eliminated at a 3-to-1. The main gimmick that this is used for is if you're using a troop in first slot that has 3 times skull damage or higher through whatever means, it is worth doing this, as if it is a 3 times, it is 1-to-1 compared to if you use a Mang on them. It's basically like if your hero used Mang, but you apply it to a different unit that already has triple damage. And the other instance is obviously things that have even higher than triple damage, like 5 times damage, or situations where you might have even more than it, like with Hunter's Mark, while also having like 2 times damage or 3 times damage. So in those kind of situations, it can be more beneficial to actually do Earth's Fury. For the most part, there isn't as much of a need to use this weapon because things like Wild King and such exist, but it is still worth considering. It is a great way to armor tier while still giving your whole team attack. But yeah, it's worth considering compared to Mang in some situations. I would say 9 times out of 10, Mang is stronger, especially in early game when you get it pretty much for free. But this is definitely an alternative to consider, especially if you're still kind of in early and mid game. You're just kind of looking for an attacking weapon, and you don't happen to have access to Wild King yet, but you still want something that's kind of like him. This is a pretty good option to end up going for. So if there's any one utility weapon I would say to pick up this week, it is definitely this. Definitely make sure to prioritize the Ironhawks if you're going to go for it. And if you need some other early game thing, obviously Queen of Tanya is pretty good. But if you have to spare resources scrapped together this week, if there's any one weapon, I would say Earth's Fury is probably the highest amount of use case that you would have from any of these for the most part, unless you're looking to use any particular one for any of the events. With that being said, let's actually go show all the teams for the events. Of course, all of them will be in the description below. We'll also be messing with a couple of them tonight. We'll end up streaming here on the channel at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just messing around with Red Doom and all that kind of stuff. I actually went a little bit of a lower rarity for the initial Red Doom team. For this, we're going to be running the Shield, which of course is required in order to get 2 times score. The Angry Mob, which we're using for a resummon if hero somehow dies, as well as mostly for mana accumulation. And then, of course, Double Tesla. Cast Tesla, win. You might need a third one occasionally, and it's pretty much all you're going to need. Just spam Tesla, get your mana up, spam Tesla, repeat, and should be pretty free. As far as the lower rarity team, pretty similar structure. Shield, because you have to use it. Angry Mob, because it's just a really good mana accumulator under the red category. And then we're using double Magma Dragon. If you want more mana diversity, you can end up going for a different option. While Magma Dragon is a legend, I do consider it a low rarity troop in the sense that it is a faction legend. So if you ever want to get it, all you have to do is just throw some Chaos Shards at the Fire Rift. If you currently don't have like any Chaos Shards at all, just do the Tuesday faction event and you'll end up easily getting some. And then you can just go and do the Red Doom event then. So should be pretty straightforward. You always have some kind of damage source, and if you have better damage sources, obviously like Queen of Tanya from Soulforge this week, you can obviously offset it with other various options. So worth considering and just upgrade depending on what you have, like Queen of Tanya or Mythic that does a lot of red AoE damage or whatever you want to go and upgrade to. As far as the faction event, it is of course a green-blue restriction, though in this game mode you are allowed to use any colored weapon. For this we have pretty standard Ruin quick kill for green-blue. For higher level range, who could have guessed? We got Tesla, except the actual Tesla team, using double Tesla with Holy Sting Astra and the Wand. Wand to get rid of Submerge, Tesla in order to obliterate the enemy team, and Holy Sting Astra, of course, for her 50% mana start, as well as if you needed a little bit of extra armor gain. So you end up getting the damage that you need to end up killing. As far as the Pure Faction team is concerned, you use a nice diverse team of 4 Shagaraths. His ability is just really good. He silences and deals true damage to not only the first enemy, but also the last enemy. And on top of that, he also gets to explode 5 gems of the most used ally mana color, which I forgot how this works. I think it is at random if they're all the same. So, randomly do it between blue or purple. He also ends up getting an enrage per ally when an ally casts a spell. The only slight issue with this is he does not have a 50% chance to do true damage, which would have been some really good synergy. Unfortunately, it is physical damage, but it could still be enough to poke out the enemy. Though, generally speaking, when you're using this team, you will be killing absolutely everything with true damage and not really ever getting off any physical damage kills. But you never know. If the battle drags off, it might eventually end up getting some damage in there. As far as the Barbarian Class event, you are restricted to specifically orcs from Groshnok. With that being said, that is very limiting as far as viable options. You can go double Empower Skulls if you really want to, and go for those if you really want. However, like these two. However, the other strategy, of course, is just Mana Link, per usual. into whatever your strongest weapon is. And you have two different options that you can end up doing for this, depending on what you have. The cheaper option is what we have here for the copy paste, which is going to be Black Manacle into triple Dark Song. Though, if you do have it, you can do triple Orc into the Ruby weapon, as the Ruby weapon will be overall better damage. You get your mana back, and you still be able to go do the exact same strategy. But for the copy paste, I will be having Black Manacle here. But if you do have the other team, of course, consider using it. As far as Underspire is concerned, this is specifically Grashnok weapon as well as Grashnok troops. However, they don't specifically have to be orcs, but realistically, they're going to be orcs. They're like 99% the kingdom is orcs, so it's probably going to be orcs. So for this, we're just using Spiked Mace. Definitely not required. You could go a different weapon, but it just helps diversify your color. Ends up dealing some damage to an enemy, boosted by Grashnok allies, which is your whole team but hero, and then ends up doing a bunch of red and brown based on your Grashnok allies. And we're just doing it with elementals, so you live better, but of course you could go Barbarian if you really wanted to, though Barbarian class pretty weak. As far as the other team, we'll end up going for a Mountain Crusher team. Mountain Crusher is indeed from... Wait, it's not? Oh, never mind. Hold up. Wait, I see an error. I messed up. I forgot to double check if it was a Grashnok weapon. Wait. We'll find a replacement. Wait. Gotta repair it. Oh, no, what's... Oh, Mang. Ooh, shiny. We get to use Mang. I forgot Mang and Earthsphere. Ooh, okay. Well, team solved. Okay, that's better. Now, as I was saying, use Mang with triple Shaggorath. Pretty similar to the faction team, except your hero will have 1 billion attack value. And unlike Earth's Fury, all of the attack goes straight into your hero, which is exactly where you want it. And yeah, you just kill a bunch of things with insta-kill Skull. This weapon basically does true damage, so go with your other true damage. In the case that, you're breaking all the armor, so you're just hitting straight to their damage. Anyways, his Enrage actually gets to do something, because your hero will be able to Enrage and just absolutely obliterate everything. Because not only are you gaining attack value from Mang, but you're also getting Enrage from the Shaggorath, so it ends up working out really well. And of course, you still have the standard Shaggorath cast that you can end up utilizing, so should be able to go through pretty easily. And of course, we're just using Elementalist because it's really tanky, but you can use any barrier on Brown hero class of your choosing. Elementalist is just generally the most survivable ones, but of course, you could do any of your personal preference. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for now. We will, of course, as we mentioned, tonight be streaming at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That will be our only Gems of War stream this week, as well as going forward, at least as far as our Brighter Shores addiction is still going. But at least for now, it's basically just going to be Gems of War Mondays for now, which I'm slightly disappointed that we keep kind of like making us doing less and less Gems of War content. Before you know it, we'll be doing 1 minute of Gems of War content every week now. But I don't know. I just don't want to like completely ever abandon the Gems of War community. I'm here all the way for the long term. We've been doing this for 10 years. We'll do it for 10 more. But at this point, we are at the point of like Gems of War Mondays kind of thing. So, we'll do the weekly video. We'll do the stream at the night. So a little bit of a cutback compared to normal. But, I don't want to completely just stop doing Gems of War content. I'm here for forever. As long as the servers are still up, we are going to be here. Even if we're doing other things on the channel and everything else like that. So no worries. We're not going away. We're still going to be here. But yeah, it's just going to be a Monday thing now. At least at the moment. Maybe we'll start doing more again in the future. But at least at this moment, Gems of War is now Monday content here on this channel. But yeah, we'll do the normal weekly recap as we always do. So if you normally watch the videos, it's basically the same thing as normal. It also only, I guess, affects the people who normally watch our streams and everything, as we have cut back from like every single day to like 3 times a day to, hey, it's just on Mondays now. And then what the next step is: no streams at all. No, I still want to have at least one. Just kind of weekly recap, to kind of go over things, just chat with you guys, all that kind of stuff. But of course, feel free to chat whenever we're doing other games as well. Feel free to just stop by, even ask Gems of War questions. I don't mind. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Best of luck with the Gems of War anniversary stuff. We'll be handing out one of the old pets tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the channel. And of course, do not forget to get your 10-year anniversary pet on Wednesday, as well as to do the actual 10-year anniversary event, so that you can end up getting the tarot card piece. Also, keep in mind, I didn't really make much mention of it, but it is a different tarot card piece, by the way. I thought all 4 of them were going to be the same, but apparently we're getting like 4 different ones. The effect is just as useless as any other tarot card, but they actually are 4 different tarot cards. I originally thought it was going to be 4 the same, but it's actually 4 independent ones. So yeah, definitely make sure to be getting them, as you do get a free troop, or almost free troop. We don't know exactly what it will cost to craft at the end, that you'll be able to go get for that seasonal mythic, or the I guess what you call it, the 10-year anniversary mythic. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone, and thanks for watching.